Well, these screws are all seized in. I've just managed to crack these bolts off. This was broken. It's been broken a while. The bearing part there is rather dry, so a bit of lubrication there won't go amiss, and a means of actually adding lubricant to it. I mean, a hole through the top would be useful. Anyway, that's the way it is. So I'm going to have to get an impact driver if I want to split this down to clean it up. Well, I've been able to wiggle the thrust bearing out, and the bottom half of that thrust bearing is also cracked and broken. Difficult to tell how old that is, that crack, but again, I don't think it's new. Having wiggled that out, that does mean that I can take the sliding part of the vise off, which will allow me, when I've taken that face off, to clean up the sliding bit, and I might not need to undo those screws. No point doing more than I need to get it functioning well. So that's the surface rust cleaned off there, and the other parts. That's the nut. I've taken the screw out. I'm just going to wire brush that to clean it. And I've cleaned this bit up, and it now slides very nicely. Not that way round. If I assemble it again, that slides quite nicely up and down there now. So the vise should move nicely. No need, I think, to undo these screws. It doesn't do any adjustment, it's just part of the fabrication. It's been fabricated out of lots of blocks of steel. A block of steel for the base, a block of steel for this bit, a block of steel for that end, blocks of steel for that. So it's been machined and fabricated out of blocks of steel, and these set screws are what hold those blocks of steel together. But there's no need to disassemble that. As you look on the end there, you see that's not milled slot, it's a milled rebate, and then a piece fastened on. And similarly, you can see how that's been fastened on to there. So quite a heavy piece of engineering. So that's a bit cleaner. Hopefully that turns more smoothly. In the nut, I'm just going to use standard lithium grease for the lubrication of those bits, and see how it all goes back together. I've just taken some of the tension off on those. They were really tight in. If you over tighten these too, it makes the action of this thrust bearing here rather stiff, but by just slacking it off a little, it's not slack, but just taking some of that tension back, and it's moving very sweetly now. I think I'll just clean up and refit the face plates, whatever you call those bits, vice faces, and this looks like a working item.